Hey everyone, welcome back to my Power BI tutorial. Today we are going to talk about two important features that can help you organize and analyze your data, summarize and add columns. These features can be incredibly useful when you're working with large data sets or need to perform complex calculations. So let's get started. First of all, let's talk about summarize. Okay, the summarize function is used to group data by one or more columns and then aggregate values within these groups. Okay, so and then also for the add columns function, this feature allows you to create new columns based on calculations or expressions. Okay, so let's jump right into Power BI and then take a look at how these two functions are used. Okay, so first of all, on your screen you can see Power BI desktop. I'm going to go ahead and load the data that I'm going to work with. So we go to get data, and it's an Excel workbook, and then I can bring that data in from my computer, and then the data is called my table. So you select my table and then click on the transform data, and then on your screen you can see a table having 5 columns with 2 different products and the region, the year, and the quarter, and then the sales amount. So the goal of this tutorial is to calculate the total sales using the product names as groups. Okay, so we are going to use the summarize function to do that. So first of all, let's click close on apply, and we are going to create a measure. So close and apply, and this table is going to be loaded into the Power BI model. So first of all, we are going to add a new table. So clicking on the table view here, we are going to add a new table, and on your screen you can see the existing table that we are going to group. So click on new table, and then this table we are going to call total sales by product. Total sales by product, and this is going to be equal to, and I'm going to start on the second line by pressing shift and the enter key. So it's going to start with summarize, and then you open your parentheses. So first of all, what it's looking at, the first input is going to be the table. It's looking for the table, and the table is called my table. You can see it on the right hand side here. So when you can see my table, and then you put in the comma, and then it's looking at the group by column. What column do we want to group by? We want to group by the product column, which is the second entry point here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, tab key, and then close the parenthesis, and then press the enter key. And you see it has grouped the, giving us the unique products. But what we want is the total sales. So we are going to add another column to this. Okay, so we are going to add another column, which is the total sales, and we are going to wrap that outside of the summarize. So we are going to, behind the summarize, we are going to put add columns, and I'm going to leave a space. So shift enter key, or just shift enter key, create a space, and then I put add columns. So add columns, and I'm going to indent this a little bit to make it more readable. Okay, so add columns. So we are going to add columns to this one column table we are looking here. So what column do we want to add? We are going to add the total sales. Okay, so we put in a comma here. So add columns to this table, and the title of the column is what we need first. So the title of the column we are going to call total sales, and we have to wrap this in quotes because it is just a text. So we're going to call it total sales. Now you close it, and then you bring your comma. The next thing it's looking for is an expression. Okay, what expression do we need here? We need the total sum of sales. Okay, so I'm going to put in sum of the sales amount, and it has even come up for you to see. So sum of total sales, and then we close it. We close this, and then we close and put another parenthesis to close the add columns. Okay. Now, when you do this, it's going to behave in a certain way, and I'll let you take a look at it before I explain further. So look at the enter key. You notice that it has brought you the same amount. The reason being that it's taking the sum of sales for all products. Okay, so this sum of sale, or this function we have just written, is not respecting the filter here. Okay, respecting the fact that the first row is product 1, and for that matter it should bring the total sales for product 1. It's not respecting that filter context. So in order to let this work the way we want, we have to wrap the sum function in the calculate function. So you bring a calculate behind the sum. So calculate, and then open your parentheses, and it tells you that calculate evaluates an expression in a context modified by filters. So once we wrap the sum function here in calculate function, it's going to respect the filter that we have on the left hand side. So we put in the calculate and then just close the calculate, and then press the enter key, and then now it has calculated for you to see. So the total sales for product 1 is 1,470, and then product 2 is 2,205. And then so you can see when I go to my main table, you see this is the main table, and it has calculated by using the calculated table. So the calculated table is on the right when I click on it, and you can check when you sum all of this. I'm going to group them by product names and then the total sales. So that's it. With summarize and add columns, you can easily group and analyze your data, as well as create new calculated columns based on the complex calculations. These features are just a few examples of the powerful tools available in Power BI. Before we wrap up, we can create a small visualization on this table. So go to the visualization tab or the report tab on the left hand side, and then we can just go to our total sales table, and then we can just click on the product, and then the product total sales. Right now you are seeing it in the table form. I can change it and then just put it in a star column chart, and then you can see it has created a nice column chart for us for the product and the total sales. You can even go further and then modify this anyhow you want. We can decide to add values by turning on the data labels. Okay, once we turn on the data labels, it shows us product 2 is 2205 and product 1 is 1470, and then you can see that as well from the group table. So thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more Power BI tutorials.